I have already demonstrated how to install Visual Studio Community 2015 in section 2 of this lecture series. But as a refresher, if we go up here to visualstudio.com and we click Download Community 2015 right here, once we click that, we'll be able to download a new version of Visual Studio Community 2015. Now, I'm not going to run through this installer. I've already demonstrated how to install Visual Studio, but in this case, you'll click Run. Then your instance of Visual Studio 2015 will run through the installer process. Depending on your network connection speed, it can take anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes to an hour, depending on the dependencies that you want to install in Visual Studio. So you'll click Run. Once you click Run, then you can start building applications in Visual Studio. So I'm going to exit out of this, and then I'm going to go to Visual Studio I have right here. And on my desktop, you see a folder that says App. So in my folder that says App, that's where I'm going to put my project. So let's go to File, New, Project. As you can see, on the left, I'm in Visual C#, and then I have Windows, Web. I have all these different projects I can associate. But right here, you see 3 choices for a web application. I have an ASP.NET web application utilizing the full .NET framework. This uses the old project structure associated with the web config, the global ASACs, and the old dependencies on the system.web. This is essentially a legacy version of a web application utilizing the full .NET framework. The second item that we have here is what we're going to build is an ASP.NET Core web application. As you can see on the right, this project is used to create ASP.NET Core applications for Windows, Linux, and OS X. So this is the app you would want to build if you're building in a cross-platform environment. The last application you can build is an ASP.NET Core web application, but the project template is associated only for the Windows environment. So it may be that your environment that you're building your app in is only Windows. You can build an ASP.NET Core application utilizing a full .NET framework version of ASP.NET Core. So now Microsoft has created 2 different templates to associate with this. You can combine these both into one project, but it's nice to have the choice of separating a .NET Core application that's cross-platform and a .NET Core application that's depending on the full .NET framework. So we're going to click the .NET Core for cross-platform, and we're going to say My App as the name. And then once we do that, let's change where this is going to. So we're going to go to the desktop and we're going to the app folder. We're going to select that folder, press OK. Then it's going to give us a choice of what type of application we want to create. If we create an empty application, we're not going to have any dependencies built into our project, no controllers, no views, no NuGet packages referenced in the project.json except the baseline. So this is if you want to build an application from scratch. The second item is a web API application. This is associated if you want to build an ASP.NET Core application utilizing RESTful services. This essentially will be an endpoint to your controller methods, and you will pull your data from this API service, whether in XML or JSON format. So this is a choice for yourself as well. And then we can also create a scaffolded ASP.NET Core application, which we're going to utilize right now. I'm going to change the authentication to no authentication. I don't want to build in any dependencies associated with that. We're going to press OK, and then we're going to press OK. And then it's building and scaffolding our application right now. So it's restoring all of our dependencies associated in the project.json file. And then we have our application set up right here. In a future lecture, we'll delve into the differences between the new version of ASP.NET Core versus the RC1 version. There's a few differences in the project.json, where the web.config is. So we're going to analyze the differences between these two. But this is how you build an ASP.NET Core application utilizing Visual Studio 2015. So just to make sure our app is running, I'm going to click IIS Express. We have a few different commands we can associate here. If we want to do IIS Express, we can run the My App, and this is all associated in my project.json file. And you can see right here, there's a few differences between the previous version and this. We have the .NET 5.6 and the .NET Core and the portable versions associated in our application. We'll delve into the differences later. So let's just run this application. It should give us that scaffolded bootstrap application that we had in previous versions. One nice distinction between the Yeoman generator, like I stated before, it allows you to build a semantic UI scaffolded application. So right now, this is our bootstrap application. You see we can go to the About, Controller, Contact, and the Home. This is how we build a web application utilizing Visual Studio 2015. I want to thank you for joining me in this lecture. Have a nice day.